we're going to be looking at what a relative clause is and how to use it in a sentence.
A relative clause gives more information about the noun in a sentence. A relative clause begins with either who, which, that, whose. These are called relative pronouns. Or where, why, when, which are relative adverbs. In the sentence, the penguin who threw the snowball tried to blame her friend. The noun is penguin. The relative clause is who threw the snowball. It gives more information about the penguin. The word who begins this relative clause. Let's look at examples of adding a relative clause that starts with that, whose, and where. I loved skiing on the slope. Slope is the noun. Adding a relative clause to give more information about the noun could change this sentence to I loved skiing on the slope that you told me about. That you told me about is the relative clause, and it begins with that. The seal dived into the waves. Supposing there are many seals, how do you know which one the sentence refers to? Adding a relative clause about the seal, which is the noun, could change the sentence to the seal whose flippers were the longest dived into the waves. Whose flippers were the longest is the relative clause. It tells you that the seal the sentence is referring to is the one with the longest flippers. Whose begins the clause. The cave overlooks the ocean. Cave is the noun. Adding a relative clause about it, the sentence could change to the cave where the polar bear sleeps overlooks the ocean. Where the polar bear sleeps is the relative clause, giving more information about the cave. Where begins this clause. You've been learning about adding a relative clause to a sentence. A relative clause gives more information about a noun. It can begin with the words who, which, that, whose, where, why, or when.